Texas is continuing the F around and find out stage. Guess what just hit 0 before Donald Trump's approval rating? Right there. Farm labor attendance, 0. Entire fields, whole crews are ghosting fields, leaving fruits and vegetables to rot because the Donald Trump administration is too busy playing cat and mouse with people who just want to feed America. To the MAGA people who are saying that immigrants are taking your job, this right here is your opportunity. Pick yourselves up by the bootstraps, get those buckets, and pick those strawberries. No more hiding behind those welfare checks that are padded behind blue state dollars. You wanted the raids, you got them. Now get in those fields and pick those fruits and vegetables before you watch the produce aisle turn to a luxury boutique section. Chop chop, MAGA. And that's it.
Hello guys, welcome once again to AfriPost. I hope wherever you're watching us from, you're having a great time. Now, Texas has historically, since 1980, voted towards Republicans, and therefore we can easily say that Texas is a red state. But then, having voted for Republicans over the years, we are finding out that right now, Trump's policies, Trump, who is a Republican, whom they voted for, is affecting them. And white farmers in Texas are crying out loud, saying that they are getting poor because immigrants who used to work in their farms have disappeared overnight. They are nowhere to be seen. Farm produce are getting destroyed in the farms, and they have no one to help them harvest what is ready. This is affecting the economy of Texas, and especially the farmers who depend on this farm produce as their income. One would ask themselves, why would they vote for somebody or even support an individual who has plainly told them that one of his main agenda is ensuring that all immigrants living in the United States go back to their country, whether they are legally protected or not, because we are finding out that even those who are legally staying in the United States have been rounded up by ICE agents and deported. So it is something that is cutting across. I have come across some clips here describing the real state of affairs in Texas and why these things are happening the way they are happening. Let's watch this, then come back and share our thoughts.
Well, thanks to the big orange gremlin looking motherfucker, multiple farms in Texas just shut down overnight. Why? Because ICE raids made nearly 100% of the workforce completely vanish. People ran, got detained, or flat out got scared to death and never came back. Dairy farms are in panic mode right now. Cows gotta be milked every 8 hours. And guess what? Nobody's showing up to milk these fuckers, folks. This isn't some Texas problem either. This is happening across the entire nation. ICE isn't just out here enforcing some bullshit laws. They are actively crippling our food systems with fear and chaos. You want to talk about consequences? This ain't just about politics anymore, y'all. It's about what's on your table, what's in your fridge, or what's about to be missing from your fucking store. These Nimrods aren't saving America. They're starving it.
We're here. We are here at the FAFO stage. This is really bad. And if you appreciate my content, please engage with this video. I'm just going to read this to you. Multiple Texas farms shut down after almost 100% of workforce vanishes overnight. In a stunningly swift overnight change, some Texas farm operations had to shut down after losing virtually all of their workforce, an exodus triggered by the increase in immigration raids and increased enforcement. The ripple effects of these raids are the gift that keeps on giving and will be felt nationwide. Unpicked crops are now left unharvested. Livestock were left untended, and rural economies are on edge. The story isn't just a tale of woe for Texas farms, it's a warning for American agribusiness, food prices, and communities that keep food on our plates. I need you to share this with every Republican you know. And you don't even need to wait for their response. They just need to know what's happening. And this is part of my line of work. I deal with commercial farmers, including these small farmers, as clients, and I cannot tell you how this is the beginning of the complete collapse of our economy under this Project 2025 administration that doesn't know what they're doing. You talk about the immediate shuttering of farms, because this is actually what's happening. With the food, with the harvests that are lying there completely rotting. That is a loss of food to local food distributors, local grocery stores, local restaurants, hospitals. They sell their harvests, all sorts of vegetables, to businesses within the state of Texas. This is where you can go into your local grocery store, and now you're going to see hardly any vegetables or fruit, depending on what they're growing, or a shortage of meat. This is what's going to happen. Now, all of the other industries that support farming, you've got local pesticide, herbicide, fertilizer suppliers that are just, their sales are going to plummet. These farmers aren't going to be purchasing that. You've got H-2A workers who are now gone, migrant workers who are now gone. They were paying taxes. Even if they didn't have social security numbers, they were given tax numbers, tax ID numbers. So now you got millions of dollars just poof, gone overnight from these Texas communities. You've got trucking companies that are hired to haul the produce from the farms to the packaging plants. You've got packaging plants who wash the vegetables, grade the vegetables, pack the vegetables, whose sales are going to plummet. Now you're going to have other industries who don't employ either migrant workers or H-2A workers who are going to have layoffs. This is all under Republican leadership, not just from the White House, but from the Republicans that were elected in the state of Texas. And if you think this is going to stop at Texas, you've got another thing coming. And you want to know which farms are going to be impacted further down the road? They're going to be safe for now. There's a small percentage of farmers who are actually Democrats. And they understand how important it is to protect their employees, take care of their employees. Those employees who feel safe will keep showing up for work because they know the owners have their backs, which says something about these other farms where the employees are like, I'm too scared to show up. Let me add this final thing. This is going to impact farmers. They're at risk of going out of business. Who's going to jump in? The federal government to compensate them with our tax dollars. So now our tax dollars is going to be used to cover the bullshit leadership of this administration on top of the overwhelming increasing tax dollars being used by this administration to scare, to deport, to imprison people with brown skin. Like, our tax dollars are not helping everyday Americans at all. And this is just the beginning under Republican leadership. Share this video.
News out of Texas. And if this is happening in Texas, this is happening elsewhere. I'll put the link to the article in the description. Multiple farms are shutting down due to lack of workers because the entire workforce has basically fled and is in hiding and not showing up for work. Crops are being left to die in the Texas heat. Livestock is being untended to, unwatered, and unfed. There's just no one to do the work. So this is going to lead to potential food shortages because I'm sure this is happening across the country. Most farm workers are questionably documented. No one else is willing to do the work. This is going to lead to shortages, and inflation is going to go back up as we're going to have to import food from outside.
Howdy, we got some breaking news from Texas, and it ain't too good, but it's news you can prove. Check this out. We got farms in Texas right now, all over, closing overnight. Closing down because they have lost 100% of their workers. Now, you already know why they lost the workers. Immigration and the ICE, the results of that's the problem. But see, what's going on is not only have they lost the workers. They have also, well, they're beginning to lose crops in the fields, livestock not being taken care of. This is right now. Texas farms, people know the communities that these farms are in that depend on the farms. They're not doing too well either because they depend on the farms. And this ain't gonna stop in Texas. This is gonna go all over America. People gonna start spilling this shit, and it ain't gonna be nice. Somebody better say something about this shit, because the government ain't saying shit. They don't give a damn. Shit's about to get out of control. It's getting fucked up. Somebody better ring the motherfucking alarm around here. All right, I'm out.
Farms in deep red Texas are shut down, and Donald Trump is the reason. Now, as you know, Donald Trump has shifted ICE from focusing on criminal immigrants to going after easier targets such as job sites to pump his numbers up. But farms are hurting because of this, as many of their workers are either being deported or not showing up for fear of being caught up in these raids. And because of this, they're essentially shut down and no work can be done. Just take a listen to one farmer.
3 weeks it started to slow, but this last week or so has been huge. That's when it's like zero people wanting to come out. And
yeah, zero people going to work the farms. And while yes, these farmers are in the find out phase, we're all going to be in it, because they're talking that our food supply is going to be shut down or have major interruptions. And it's not just Texas, it's California and Washington. We are finding out that yes, immigrants do help the American economy. Immigrants are part of the American fabric. We just didn't realize it till it was too late.
Next up on the FAFO tour, Texas farmers. One day, these farms in Texas had hundreds of workers tending the fields and the livestock, and the very next day, all of those workers are gone. That's what has happened in Texas. And entire fields of crops are being left to rot because there's no one to pick them. Livestock, like dairy cows, that have to be milked twice a day when they're lactating, there's no one to tend to them. These farms are going to go under. And it's not going to just affect Texas farmers. This is going to affect the breadbasket of the nation very soon. Most of these farmers voted for the felon in chief. And now they are reaping what they have sown, quite literally. Is America great yet? And all of these red-faced, conservative MAGA folk who have complained for years about these illegal immigrants are taking our jobs. It's funny, they're not lining up to go work out in these fields for that low pay out in the hot sun. And what's unspoken is many of these farmers and many of these racists thought that we Black Americans were going to rush out there because they have come to believe their own racist stereotypes and lies about Black people. And they did. They thought we were going to line up to go work in those fields. Ha ha, tricks are for kids. Our ancestors already been there and done that, and they were not paid at all. They were forced to work in fields, whipped and tortured. This is a new day. And so I suggest everyone who has ever complained about illegal immigrants taking our jobs, you get you some 100 SPF sunscreen and get your ass out there in the fields if you want produce, period, in your grocery stores. And think about this. This is going to have a ripple effect. Think about all the businesses that are vendors and customers of these farms. There's no one to buy fertilizer, farm implements, pesticides. Many restaurants that are farm to table, where they're going to get their meat and their produce. Racism is expensive, and it is going to be the ruin of this nation. It's already playing out. So again, I ask, MAGA, are we great again yet? And when are y'all gonna go out to Texas and all these other areas that need work and start working the fields, since you're a patriotic American? I'm waiting to see when that's going to happen, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
So there's reports coming out right now about farms in Texas losing nearly 100% of their staff due to immigrant workers not turning up because of fear of the ICE raids. So let's talk about that. Texas farms generate around $32 billion a year in revenue for the state, huge, valuable, and there's around 100,000 and there's hundreds of thousands of farm workers in Texas. And around 20-30% of those are foreign born, and around 17% of those are undocumented. So there's a lot of immigrants and a substantial number of undocumented immigrants. Now, the ICE raids have caused people to stay at home because of the fear that they're going to get deported. This means that farms are losing their staff. Some areas have lost half their workers overnight. That's halts milk operations and also means the herd isn't being tended to. But it's not 100% of staff because less than 30% are immigrants in the first place. So we need to clarify 2 points. First of all, it is an issue because farms require a lot of manual labor. And even if you're losing 10% of the staff, that's going to be a bigger impact, but it's not 100%. Now, the reason it's a problem right now is this harvest is going on right now. So it's the winter wheat harvest, so it's planted in winter, gets harvested now, and around 50% of wheat would be harvested right now. And it's a critical phase. That's not going to happen if the staff aren't there. You then got a lot of fruit being harvested right now: cantaloupes, watermelons, peaches, plums, blackberries. They're all being harvested right now in either central or northern Texas. And these delays could either cause a loss of the crop or a reduced quality and therefore reduced revenue for the farmers. So it's actually quite a big issue. There's also secondary effects. So hay and silage is having troubles being harvested. That means there's going to be a long tail impact because the lack of hay now is going to impact the feed supplies later on. You've also got problems with logistics, so haulage, delivery, and then food processing plants. So think about abattoirs, etc. If the immigrant workers don't turn up for that either, you're not going to be able to get the food processed even once it is going from the farm to the factory. So this is quite a big issue. Not 100% of staff, but it is a significant percentage of staff, which is going to impact food supplies.
Morning, guys. Hey, quick question. Did y'all hear about the Texas farmers? Did y'all hear the Texas farmers had to close their farms, had to shut it down? Texas farmers have gone completely bankrupt. The almighty mass deportations, it hit them hard because ICE came and raided Texas farms, and they gathered up all of their workers, 100% of their workforce, and so they have officially shut down. Yeah. Texas farmers who voted for Trump, who supports Trump, have lost their farms. Add them to Nebraska. Add them to Iowa. All those states that are where farms are heavy. Add them all to the list. You guys are losing your farms one by one. All because y'all supported and voted for DJT. Hard lesson to learn. That's going to cost a lot of people some hardships. I suggest we get to knowing our local farm producers, huh? I know we have a farm market I think it's one Saturday out of the month here, where we have local black farmers bring in their produce and sell it at this farmers market. I think it's going to be a lot of that going on because they have really screwed the pooch this time. Yeah, So, and now they're crying because they can't get Americans to come and work their farms, aka black people. But one really curious, mind-boggling thing going on at the same time that kind of has me a little, black farmers aren't having these issues. Black farmers are still producing. They're still working. They're still operating. So much so that I've heard, it's been rumored that some of these white farmers are trying to burn down the black farmers' farms because they don't have the issues they have. And the only reason the black farmers don't have the issues they have is because they were cut out of all those subsidies that the farmers were getting. It wasn't for black farmers. So black farmers were never set up for failure. They did what they did on their own. They didn't wait for government. The government didn't give them the extra funds. The government didn't come in and save their day. They just rolled their sleeves up and went to work. They didn't complain. They weren't whining and stuff. And we've been hearing for a long time that black farmers weren't getting the assistance that the other farmers were getting, and how prejudiced it was. And nobody had a problem with it. Not one white farmer had a problem with it. But now y'all got a problem with the black farmers still producing, still working their farms after y'all got screwed. So now you want to go and destroy. It's typical. Typical. You can't stand to see black people with anything. Anytime black people strike out and thrive and flourish, y'all come in and burn it down. Not because we are physically threatening you, not because we have harmed you, but because your jealousy and your hatred. That you cannot stand to see a black person prosper and be successful. Your hatred is so deeply rooted in you, it triggers you to the point to where you have to lash out. Because you just can't see black people being prosperous. You can't see black people being more successful than you. I'll never forget this one scene in this movie I watched, Rosewood. I know you all know the Rosewood story. When they raided those black people's homes, when they came into that town, to Rosewood, and started butchering and killing, they were in one house of one of the people, and it was the son of the woman that Esther Roll played, and he played the piano. He had a piano in his house, and when they broke into his home, one of the white tea men was sitting over there looking at his piano. How come he got a piano? I ain't got a piano. You don't even know how to play a freaking piano. You didn't even want a piano. You just hated the fact that a black man had something you didn't. And that's all Rosewood attack was about. Rosewood was a flourishing black prosperous town where black people were living just as good, if not better, than some of the whites there. And it was all their material gain that had y'all so triggered. So when that white woman lied, that's all y'all needed. And y'all went in there and tore everything up, not because they, like I said, not because you were threatened, not because your lives were in danger, but because you hated the prosperity of black people. And it's the same thing going on now with these farmers. But y'all, you did this to yourself. These are, I keep saying, it's self-inflicted. You ruined your farm. You destroyed your farm. So take it out on you. Don't take it out on black men out here working their ass off, doing what they got to do, and no support like y'all had. So leave them folk alone. Y'all brought this upon y'allselves. Deal with it. You went out there and wholeheartedly voted for Donald Trump, supported Donald Trump, and some of y'all still hollering y'all still support him, even though y'all done lost all your livelihood. You can't fix that. You can't fix that. Leave it alone. That's to the grave. Yeah, that's to the grave. You don't even waste your time on that. It just keeps coming down the shitter, doesn't it? Every time you think one thing, every time you think you can't get any worse, guess what? Here comes another load. And this ain't the last one coming. I just thought y'all might want to know about those Texas farmers. Yeah, it's bit them as well. Yeah. I know y'all saying, how you laughing? And it's going to affect it's going to affect us. Baby, everything affects us. We always laugh. That's how we heal. That's how we heal. That's how we get through. We've learned to laugh. Something y'all will never, ever be able to do. So, anyway, y'all have a great day. I just wanted to bring that little tidbit to you. And I will be talking to you guys a little later. Y'all have a good one. Hey, Texas farmers, before I get the hell out of here, one quick question. Yeah, I got a question. Is it great again yet? Asking for a friend. Have a great one.
It's Joe from Georgia. So this is news out of Texas. But folks, these are alarm bells ringing for the entire United States. And our government is not listening. Overnight, multiple farms in the state of Texas completely shut down. And the reason for this shutdown was because they have lost almost 100% of their workforce. Now, we know this is the result of the immigration raids and stricter enforcement, but the ripple effect is going to be felt all the way across this country. Now, you've got crops that are rotting in the fields. You have livestock that is not being attended to at all. And that takes a lot of personnel. And we're talking, so now we're getting every area of food to include meat. And the communities that surround these farms, those businesses and those people who depend on the income from these farms, it's creating disasters for small communities in Texas. Now, this is not stopping at Texas farms. This is going to end up all the way across America, especially in the breadbasket, the middle of the nation, because they have tons of immigrant help. But folks, the alarm bells are ringing. Your food on your plate is being affected. So you got to think about it. It won't be soon until either prices go ridiculously high or you just won't have any food to buy.
This is breaking news. Texas farmers are sounding the alarm on this tariff war. And in more breaking news, nobody cares. Yeah, I don't know if it's just me or maybe it's some of you too, but as far as farmers sounding the alarm, I don't care. I have to admit, I don't care at all, because the last time Donald Trump was president, 100,000 farmers across the country lost their farms. Yeah. So overwhelmingly, farmers voted for this man again, knowing full well of his history the last time he was president. So from me to you, farmers, I don't care. I don't care how bad things get for you. I don't care if you lose your farm. I don't care if you... I don't care. At least I don't care to hear about it. I really don't. Because this is exactly what you voted for. And you're going to get what you voted for. You're going to get 4 more years of Donald Trump not giving a damn about farmers whatsoever. So, enjoy.
Now, that is also what is referred to as a FAFO moment, because how on earth would you try and experiment with your livelihood? They voted for Trump, supporting his immigration policy, and maybe they thought that when Trump gets into office, they will get better prospects economically. But right now, while economy is not doing any better since Joe Biden got out of power, the thing that they have depended on, which is agriculture, is being targeted because the people who have been working in their farms are nowhere to be seen. Now they are left searching for fellow whites to go to the farms, and this is an uphill task. White farmers in Texas, a state that boasts of $30 billion US agricultural industry, are decrying President Trump's aggressive immigration crackdown because it threatens to deport a significant portion of their workforce, with an estimated 40 to 50% of US farm workers being undocumented. Raids targeting undocumented workers intensified since early 2025 have led to a labor shortage, particularly to labor-intensive crops like fruits and vegetables, which require hand harvesting. Farmers report that American workers are often unwilling to take on these grueling low-wage jobs, leaving them reliant on immigrant labor. The fear of deportations has caused workers to avoid showing up, disrupting planting and harvesting schedules, with some farms in Kern County reporting workers being detained en route to fields. This labor scarcity risks reducing domestic food production, potentially cutting output by close to 60 billion nationally. The economic impact on Texas farmers is compounded by Trump's tariff policies and cuts to agricultural support programs. Tariffs have increased costs for feed and fertilizer, while a $1 billion cut to USDA food purchasing program has reduced demand for farm products, squeezing profit margins. The combination of labor shortages and higher operational cost could drive up food prices by as much as 10%, according to the Peterson's Institute for International Economics, affecting both farmers' revenues and consumers. Texas farmers, despite supporting border control, are pushing for reforms like an improved H-2A visa program to ensure legal, stable workforce. Trump's initial promise in June 2025 to exempt farms from raids was reversed within days, creating uncertainty and frustrations among farmers who supported him in the 2024 election by a 3-1 margin. The administration's focus on deporting 3,000 people daily, including collateral arrests of non-criminal workers, has led to the chaotic scenes such as raids on Texas Latino communities in February 2025. Farmers argue that deporting long-term reliable workers, some employed for over a decade, disrupts operational and rural economies as their workers pay taxes and support local communities. While Trump has floated the ideas like a temporary pass for farm workers, no concrete policy has emerged, leaving farmers grappling with an unstoppable labor market and rising costs. I think that really describes the situation in the ground. Most Americans are doomed because of Trump's policy on immigration. He wants people to be deported. He wants people to go back to their countries. Yet these are the people who are supplying the much needed labor that is used in US farms. I don't know whether they will go to start import vegetables and cereals. It's all upon them to see how they're going to do it. But Trump's policy that was much touted for a better America seems not to be sending out any positive outcome for people who are depending on farming as their source of livelihood. Share your thoughts down in the comment section. And if you're watching us for the first time, please remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share. Thank you, and let's meet on the next one.